Hey everyone, and welcome to Too Ambitious. I am Trish Lindo. I'm so happy to see everyone back in another episode of this amazing show where we talk to women entrepreneurs of color, Black women who are killing it in the game. And also, too, I just want to say Happy New Year. So if you are joining us, let me know where you're calling in from. So retro calling in from. But tell me what you guys have been up to. What'd you do for New Year? I want to hear it all. Give me all the tea. If you're like me, I just kind of ended up on the couch. I didn't do much. I wanted to do a little bit extra this year, but I didn't. But that's all right. No judgment, right? Anyway, I am so happy that everyone is here today to join me. I'm super excited to bring you another episode where we talk to extraordinary women that I've met, and some of them that you probably know as well. Today, I'm super excited to have Adolpha Cole. She is the CEO and founder of Candidly Speaking. Now, if you haven't heard of it, it is a 501c3 nonprofit organization founded in 2017 that has helped over 2,000 people to develop their intellectual communication skills and foster authentic relationships in schools, businesses, and communities all over the country. Right? Yes, I know. Give it up. Let me see those emojis light up, right? She's amazing. So join me in welcoming Miss Adolpha Cole on Too Ambitious. Let's see those emojis for Miss Adolpha Cole. Hey, Adolpha.
Hi.
Hey, what's up? I'm so happy you're here.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having this. This is such a brilliant idea for
Right?
so many of us that need to hear from other entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I started off with New Year. I want to say Happy New Year to you. We've got another year to be great,
Absolutely.
as you know, as we do. What did you end up doing for New Year's? Did you do anything?
So yeah, I did the couch move too, but mostly
Okay.
because we were celebrating being in our new place finally. So
Ah,
yeah.
well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Anytime you move, that means new energy and more good things to come, right?
Mhm. Exactly.
I I love
Yeah.
it. All right, I want to see some emojis up there for Adolpha. Let her know that we are enjoying her being on the show. I also want you all to follow Adolpha on LinkedIn. She is amazing. She's always doing incredible work to help the community and to make change, and that's super important. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's learn more about Candidly Speaking. I want to know first off, Adolpha, how did you come up with this idea for your business, Candidly Speaking? Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so I'd moved to San Jose a while back, and I met a cousin who was married. His wife was white, and so at family dinners we would just talk about different things: politics, social life. Her being a white woman, me as a black woman experience, and we didn't always agree, but we learned from each other, and we became good friends. And I was thinking, I wonder if anybody else wants to have this kind of situation. So, and then I was at this event and I met this other woman. And I told her, look, I'm thinking about doing this for the community. And she was like, I'd like to hold the space. And I didn't even know what that meant. But I was like, I'm sure I need this. And Nicole has been our lead dialogue facilitator ever since. And that was 2017. But it didn't actually turn into a nonprofit until 2020. But when we started it at a library in San Jose, everyone started showing up. Every culture, religion, ability, and people wanted to connect. And so it's just been building ever since.
Amazing. And I think, what's really important too is that, that opportunity to connect and to build community, which is something that a lot of people don't get a chance to do, especially if the person is from a different community or a different background. So, I know you have a free monthly virtual event that brings people from all walks of life together to talk about culture and some of the life experience. So tell me more about that and how can the audience be a part of that?
Oh, so there's a free monthly event that's virtual. Ever since 2020, it became virtual. And you just join, it's a 2 hour conversation, but you break up into small groups. So you're never in a group more than like 6 people. And there are questions. You can submit your own questions that you've always wanted to ask someone else. You never know who's going to show up. There are people calling in from Senegal, yes, and it's at 6:30
Wow.
Pacific Standard Time. So,
Yeah.
like, he wakes up in the middle of the night just to talk to other people. There are people calling from Iran and China, and Himalayas, the Himalayas. There's a guy that calls from there this early morning, their time, just to talk to each other. Some people are trying to learn English and practice their English by getting to know what's going on over here, and we learn what's going on over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone can join. You can sign up on our website.
Okay.
It's a free monthly event for the community.
I love that. I mean, you're talking about a global conversation here. So you're connecting with people globally on a level that, most of us don't get a chance to connect with somebody from the Himalayas, for instance. So, that's incredible. I love that. I just want to give a shout out to some of our guests that are here, some of our audience members. I consider them part of the family. Clarine Mitchell is here. Shout out to Clarine. Hey. Hi. Denise Hendricks is here, so we appreciate it. Yes, we appreciate everyone who's showing up. And yes, Clarine, we have another year to be great. That's right. This is such a great opportunity for us to connect with other incredible women. So I'm so happy that you ladies are here to join this conversation with us. So, tell me a little bit about the nonprofit piece of your business, Adolpha, and why not for profit? Take me through that process, because I think when we think of, entrepreneurship, we do think of it more as, hey, we're trying to make a profit. We want to get to a point where we can make an exit, but this is a nonprofit business. So tell me how that differs for you and how you landed at that decision to begin with.
Yeah. So, like, when we first started, participants were saying, "Hey, you should make this a nonprofit." And at the time, with a full-time job, I was just like, "No, I'm not. No, we can do
Right.
this once a month in person. It's fine." But then around 2020, when I was just consulting and I only had a couple of clients, I was like, you know what? This was growing, and I was like, I guess it's time to make it a nonprofit. I didn't really even think of for profit at the time, and
Right.
yeah, so I started on the journey of nonprofit, and let me tell you, like, there's no like, oh, fill out all of these forms and then you're a nonprofit.
Right.
It is trial by fire. Like, I found out from other um, nonprofit people how, like, certain forms to fill out, but like, you don't know that every year there are more. You have to re-up some are every 2 years, and it's extremely complicated, and I feel like it's more complicated than if I had gone for profit. Not to mention that most of our business comes from the for-profit world, and then we use the funds from that to fund all our free programs in schools and in the community. So yeah, I that is how I feel like I stumbled upon it, and I am embracing it now.
Yes, yes, yes. Clarine says, I love the deep pause she gave about why she decided to make her business nonprofit instead of for profit.
It is
Yes.
it is a struggle that I must admit is a struggle, and I don't feel like it has to be. I just feel like the process could be, streamlined.
Yeah. I mean, I think anytime, you're asking for funding, especially from like the government and other organizations, the process is never easy. How do you keep up with that? What you got, like a schedule, you got like an assistant that can help you out.
Yeah, all of that. All of that, and then you get another notice like, "Hey, you're in danger of not being a charity anymore." I'm like, what is missing? What?"
Yes, yes. Did you have any other instance where, you may have missed a deadline and or anything like that? And what happened? Did chaos ensue?
Yeah, well, see, I'm currently living through that right now. Like,
Oh,
I got a notice, but I know I turned in everything. The
yeah.
taxes are in. I don't know, actually. So, stay tuned. I can
Yeah.
give you an update.
Well, we are praying for you, so we get it. We get it. The struggle is real, as they say.
It's so
You
real.
So tell me a little bit about some of the clients that you have with Candidly Speaking.
Mhm.
Where do most of them come from? Especially once you get past the funding hurdle of it all.
Yeah, so the government sector,
Okay.
and just mostly even the government sector has come from word of mouth. People join the conversation and they have moved.
Well, it seems like we have lost Adolpha for just a second, but I assure you, she will be back. If you are just joining us, we are talking with Adolpha. Adolpha, you dropped out for a little bit,
Okay.
but you're back now, and
All
that's
right.
important to us,
Sorry
you
about
know.
that.
So yeah, so just ask the question again. So where do you get most of your clients for Candidly Speaking? So you can just start again.
Mhm.
It's all good.
Yeah, so I would say at least 75% come because there was somebody who came to a community, candidly speaking, and was moved
Mhm.
by it to take it back to their corporation or if they work for the government. And so from there, we have government clients now that not only for internal workers to help change the culture and learn from each other in a way that usually they're just coming to work
Okay.
and, in government spaces, these are policymakers who live in a bubble.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
we all do. And so to be able to talk to someone else and learn from someone else, then you make different policy decisions as well. So it's been really fun being in government spaces because of that. And we're looking to grow in that sector. But also we're in businesses because people take back,
Okay.
you know, they take it back to their business and then we are asked to come and be that uh, support in departments, to get people talking more to each other and understanding each other. There was an example where, it was about going back to work. That was like a big deal that month
Right.
with this company. And what people learned is, oh, well, so and so actually needs to work from home. Like they are taking care of their aging parent and they have young people. And so I don't mind work, having to come in if it's going to help support someone who really
Mhm.
does need to stay home. But
Yeah.
they wouldn't know that unless they're having a conversation with them about
Right.
more than just work. So,
Right.
yeah,
That
mostly from people coming to our community. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's so important, you don't think about the power of communication and just having a conversation with someone, what's the saying, you don't know what someone's going through until you walk a mile in their shoes, and I think that, candidly speaking, definitely opens that door to kind of have more of an understanding of what everybody is going through. So I appreciate that, you've made this space for everyone. And, now that you know the space, that's amazing,
Yes, the
Um,
safe space, the
it's
safe
a
space.
safe space. That's right. What separates your nonprofit from others, you think, especially when you are trying to affect change and, especially with the depth of these conversations? What is it that makes you, candidly speaking, unique?
Um, I would say that we really I would say because we have a team, right? We have facilitators that, if it's virtual, is in every single breakout room.
Yeah.
If it's in person, there is a team of us walking around to just listen, to make sure that we're keeping the space safe for people, to make sure that someone's not talking over someone else, because that is the whole point. Is the point is to listen. You don't react to what someone is saying, or you don't
Mhm.
verbally react to what someone is saying. You're just listening and then answering the same question. So you really have to sit with the information given from someone else's true
Yeah.
story. And this isn't like a lecture time for us to just sit and learn how to be, better people. This is you just really connecting with the person beside you, or the small group that you're in. Um, and that kind of container that we have made for people is why people connect so quickly, like after one event with each other. Maybe they found out that they both eat iguanas because that's how they were raised and grew up. um, but also people learn, hey, I didn't know that people ate iguanas.
Yeah.
So I think just making sure that people know the guidelines and know that this is about listening and really understanding how things can be true for that person, is what just makes us have this special sweet spot that people enjoy coming back to.
Yeah, and you talk about, some of these really interesting and dynamic conversations, in these like groups and everything like that. Is there anything that you could share with us? Like, what are some of the conversations that you've been hearing that people are having? Anything that you can share? I know they're private, but on a high level,
And that's, by the way, also why we can't like have all these pictures and videos and promotions everywhere, because what people are saying, is very like intimate and they don't mind sharing in a small group, but like on video, I don't know. But there was a doctor who was like, it helped. He was in residency at the time and he was coming to Candidly Speaking in person. And he was like, I'm asking different questions from my patients, because in med school we're taught that this group of people have this and this group of people are this way, and so you just assume that this is the case in making medical diagnosis and in your opinion. And now he says he's asking different questions, and
Mm.
making to his patients, because everyone is different and has gone through different things that would help him be a better doctor. So I was just like, oh my gosh, wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a transgender couple who, I think the question was about like, do you feel discounted as soon as you walk into a room? I think it was something like that. This was a while ago. But what we learned from that is the person who transitioned to a female
Mhm.
started having like realizing how many privileges she didn't have anymore as
Mm.
transitioning to a female. And the person who transitioned to a male was like, oh my gosh, I have like privilege I didn't even ask for, I'm not even qualified for, and I had no idea until this happened. And
Right.
so they wanted to share that, but also we're sitting there. There are people in that room who had never had an intimate conversation with a person who had transitioned to a different sex.
Right.
It's like all those things that you can't get necessarily in your community, or you're not just going out talking to someone else, but this is a space where you can empathize and understand
Yeah.
someone who isn't in your normal day-to-day life.
Right. And I mean, I think it's also important to say is that, some of these conversations are uncomfortable, right? You
Yeah,
know?
lots of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people don't want to have them. And if you see someone, you're like, hey, I'm not going to ask this person, this question because it's very private, right? You
Right. But when someone else is vulnerable in a
know?
small group as well, it gives you the like courage to be vulnerable too. And
Ah,
that is what we find, a lot of things. There are a lot of tears often.
yeah.
And we welcome them, but
Yeah.
and surprising, like people don't think that's going to happen, but then they start talking about something that happened in their life, or
Right.
listening to something that happened in somebody else's life, and it's
Right.
like you can relate if you just sit down and listen. There's something that you can relate to. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's lots of difficult conversations. It's what keeps you up at night. That's a question. What keeps you up at night? Well,
Oh,
what keeps Trish up at night is different than what keeps me up at night, is different than what keeps the president up at night,
right.
and, um,
Right.
and knowing all those differences helps you, like, think twice sometimes before you're ready to just go off at someone
Yeah, for sure. And now that you've asked that question, what keeps me up at night? I mean, it could be a million things, right? Whether
on
you're
any
thinking
given
about
day.
on any given day, you're thinking about family, I'm worried about my family, I'm worried about the state of our economy and the world. That we live in. And then, sometimes unfortunately it's just as basic as like, did I eat enough today? Did I take care of myself today? So I get it, but yeah, that is a thought-provoking one. It's like what keeps you up at night? So, let's talk about the money, because it's all about how do you keep this going, Adolpha? Tell us a little bit about that process, where the funding is coming from and how you're able to sustain your business, because it's been since 2017 and I know it's not easy,
Yeah,
so tell me.
of course it's not. But interesting enough, most of it does not come from donations.
Mm,
And I'm happy to change that at any point in time for anyone out there listening. But most of our funds come from doing the work for companies and bringing our program to businesses. And
okay.
then the money that we get from that is what funds all of our community programs, all our programs in schools. I mean, as we all know, schools don't have a proper budget to bring in like soft skills training, and
Yeah.
communication training to make a better workforce. So I really think that this should have that kind of
Yeah.
importance on it. But while it doesn't, our funding is coming from the actual business that we get from uh, organizations, from businesses, from government contracts.
Amazing. And I think that, it's an important distinction, because you would think because you are a nonprofit that donations would be the thing, right?
Mhm. And I
Yeah.
would absolutely love for that to be have a more substantial role,
Right.
because of course then we could grow faster. We could be in more schools.
Right.
We could be in more communities. But for now, we're doing what we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I listen, I think it's important to make that distinction, and it's important to ask for what you want, right? So here we are. So
Yes.
everybody out there, if you want to donate, I have Candidly Speaking, where you can find them up on the screen. Let's light up those emojis, drop me some comments,
If you
and
have if your company needs us to come in and help with trust building and
yeah,
belonging,
yes.
and understanding each other in the workplace, we're here for it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and I think it's important to know that, I think most people want to have these conversations, that they just don't know how. And Candidly Speaking can be that bridge.
Yes. We have a
Yes.
huge team, huge supportive team that, even our facilitators, it's like part-time work for them, but
Mhm.
they're social workers anyway, or,
Yeah,
they are DEI consultants anyway. They're in
okay.
school for psychology, and they're all ages. That's
Yeah.
the other thing. This is definitely intergenerational.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would guess, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is that doing this work, we've already established is not easy. The conversations can be uncomfortable, but yet powerful, right? For you, you've been doing this since 2017. How has this work changed you and your worldview? What type of impact is this having on you? Because I know it has to have one, right? In some way.
Oh my gosh, it's so many. Like definitely more compassion and understanding. I listen to people. I listen more than I talk, except when I'm venting. But
Well, yeah,
yeah,
obviously.
but I listen more than I talk and can understand how things can be true, even if I don't agree with that person or their thought process. Um, I make different decisions. Like I notice in restaurants and hotels what's not accessible for people, and
Mm,
how it wouldn't be with different with the diversity of abilities out in the world. I'm surprised that there's still not sidewalks, um, that have that ramp at the end so that you can actually cross the street. Like I pay attention to that now. I have friends that are of so many different cultures and abilities and religions that I'm extremely more sensitive about just how they live, how everyone lives their life.
yeah, and I think that um, you cannot go through this world and, with blinders on, right?
I
Because
mean, say it one more time for the
I
people in the
mean,
back.
you cannot go through this world with blinders on, you know? And we're all in this together, we're all sitting on this blue planet together, so, and I think sometimes we do forget because we all, especially in the US, we're a very individualistic society, right? So
Mhm.
we are all in our own heads doing our own thing. It's only about me, 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 me all the time. Right. And I think that, when you have an opportunity to open up that worldview, to expand and to see other people for their humanity, I think is a beautiful thing, you know?
It is what is going to bring us closer. It's what's going to shift the paradigm in the world. And
Yeah.
it doesn't take all of us to shift into understanding that we're all connected,
Mhm.
but it does take enough of us to
Yeah.
make that happen. And that is our goal, to reach people, to have them, not to change them, but for them to
Mhm.
have the experience to change within themselves,
Yeah.
to see people as one and the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you say that is your secret to building this community? Is that the secret sauce to, and from what you're telling me, a global community at that? Is that the secret?
Right. You can't, no one's going to force you to change, you
Yeah.
know, not really. And
Right.
so you have to want to change yourself, and just being in the space that you can see something different, it changes you. It changes everyone. I mean, that is a constant, that's constant feedback that we get from our clients, from the community every month. You can't be the same after learning certain things about people that you had no idea about.
Yeah.
And that consistently creates change in you. So yes, we facilitate the space for that.
Yes, and I welcome it, let's talk about how a person or a company can get involved. I know you touched on it a little bit, but you know what? Let's make it clear, you know.
Sure.
Yes.
So yes, you can support us through donations, match donations. If your company does match donations into the year, you've got that extra change, or thousands or hundreds of thousands to get rid of.
Millions, millions.
Millions to get rid of. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
We have capacity building needs right now, of course, so that we can reach more people. If you are interested in facilitating, reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I can give you more information about that. We are always looking for more facilitators, especially because we are in person and virtual now. And so, yeah.
I love that, and Clarine has a question. She wants to know, how do you use LinkedIn to grow your business? You know?
Ooh, that is a very good question.
Mhm.
So our marketing team uses it to not only promote what we're doing, but let us. I mean, there are people that don't. There are people that don't know we exist. I don't know how that's possible,
You know
but
what? This
that's
show is changing that. This show is changing that.
yes. But we use LinkedIn to definitely reach out to other businesses to let them know that we're here to support. Um, there was that whole, I mean, it still is just quiet quitting happening. Why are they quitting? Because they're uncomfortable. Most of the time, they're uncomfortable at work and no one's talking about it. So,
Right.
we can support that. And we also have surveys at the end that can help them understand how to pivot to change the culture at work.
Right.
So I would say most of the time it's marketing. It's to let businesses know that we are here and we can help you.
Amazing. And I think, especially when you're talking about the future of work, we've seen work change so much in the last few years,
Mhm.
right? And that conversation doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon.
No.
And I think that, one of the things that I've noticed too is that, you know, we talk about future of work, we talk about going back to work, going back to the office, who can go back in the office, who can't go back in the office, why should we go back in the office, and those
Mhm.
conversations are important, whether we realize that or not, they're not going to end anytime soon, you know?
No. And
Yeah.
and that part of that, having virtual, because we do virtual with a lot of businesses. There are people that have been working from home and started their job and had never been able to connect around a water cooler in the office. So
Yeah.
this also provides the space of getting to know each other without having to actually be in the office.
Yeah.
So it's been
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I was reading a study the other day that said, a lot of Gen Z have never been in an office. So they have missed
Oh,
out because of
wow.
COVID. They missed out on that opportunity to connect with their coworkers. So there's that certain muscle that they miss, in having conversation, how to make small talk,
Mhm.
learning the ins and outs of business. You have a whole generation, that is missed out on that connectivity, right? So
And
it's
that's why we're trying to catch them while they're still in middle school and still in grade school. Fifth
yeah,
graders are the best. And
yeah.
they will just say, I mean, it's amazing what's on their minds.
You said fifth graders?
Yes,
Oh my
you're
God.
in grade schools and they write their own questions about what they want to talk about. And oh my gosh, they want to talk about adoption, they want to talk about divorce. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, fifth grade. Wow. I don't remember what I was you know, thinking about at fifth grade, but I don't think I was thinking about adoption or anything at that age. I was probably thinking about, lunch or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
But
But right,
but
starting early, getting people to understand connecting to each other and belonging and, all those soft skills just
yes,
translate to great skilled workers that have great, soft skills as
yeah,
well, because that is
absolutely.
important.
Absolutely. And so where can we find you, Adolpha? How can we find you? I mean, I know you're on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Where else can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Adolpha the Great. We are Candidly Speaking org on Instagram as well. I'm on LinkedIn. The organization is on Facebook. Yes, we can be found.
Yes, yes. All you have to do is know where to look, right? And for my
And
last,
for you providing space like this to get the
yay!
word out, thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're one of my favorite people, Adolpha. And fun fact for everyone out there, fun fact, Florida A&M University, we're both Rattlers. So, hey.
And they're rattlers on the I know Denise. Who's that?
Yes, yes. Denise is a fellow Rattler. So, all the HBC SU is joining us. So, it's been such a wonderful conversation, and my last question to you, that I ask all my guests is,
Yeah.
when you think about ambition, what's your thought process on it? Can you be too ambitious? Or what's the level? What's your take on ambition?
Yeah, so I hope not. I can absolutely be no, I can't. I can't be too ambitious. What am I saying? I have so many goals for Candidly Speaking. I have so many goals for myself um during my time on this planet, on this earth, and I plan on accomplishing all of them and helping so
Yes.
many people along the way. And yeah, so no, there's no such thing really.
Yeah, absolutely not. And as a woman who is taking over the world, I want to support you in your ambitions. And, I want everyone who's listening, please pass the word on to your friends and family about Candidly Speaking and Miss Adolpha Cole and all the incredible work that she's doing. Any final words you want to share with us, Adolpha?
Um, Thank you all for listening. Thank you for joining Too Ambitious. Trish, this is such a brilliant idea. I can just see it growing everywhere. And I'll eventually be on my sofa with some popcorn watching this on TV, and
I
learning,
love
from all the guests that come on and all the nuggets that they're willing to share. So thank you
it.
for providing this space and having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for saying those kind words and being here today, Adolpha. I know you are a busy woman. You've got to run your business. You got to get these coins. You got to fill out the paperwork for the funding.
Oh
So
my God.
you got to do all the things. Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everyone who joined us today for another episode of Too Ambitious. I will be back soon, probably in a couple of weeks. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another amazing entrepreneur. So I want once again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week, and once again, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
Well,
New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New
Thank you.
Year. You're so welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye.